wonderful treat on our weekly Thursday night travel talks. Good to see so many people coming on. The interest of travel is definitely high right now. And as winter starts approaching, because we are getting towards the end of fall, I think I heard on the news today that there are some places in Alberta that they are seeing the S word. So welcome everybody to our Thursday night travel talk. Tonight's special guest is Leslie Schaff from Avalon Waterways. Everybody has entered the Zoom meeting muted. You do have control of your video if you'd like to have it on or off. If you have any questions, please use the chat feature, and we have moderators who will be monitoring them, and we will be able to answer the questions at the end of the presentation. My name is Lisa Antflick. I am one of the consultants of Expedia Cruises, and our weekly travel talk is being hosted by the 6 Edmonton Expedia Cruises locations in the Edmonton area. Can't believe it, but we are coming up to 20 months that travel has shut down. And I remember when it first started, I thought, oh, a couple months we'll be up and running, but obviously not. If you are on this call, you probably love to travel. Travel fulfills us. That's why we do it. And if you are like me, you are missing it terribly. Good news, travel has begun, cruising has begun. Cruise ships started sailing this past June. We now have quite a few months where ocean cruises have been sailing in Alaska, Caribbean, and Europe. River cruising has also started, and Leslie's going to tell us a little bit about Avalon Waterways and their experiences. Cruises are operating with the highest safety and health protocols, and by far cruising is the safest way to travel. At the end of September, we saw 50% of cruise fleet sailing. At Expedia Cruises, we've all had passengers who have recently sailed and came back with raving reviews. Our passengers were thrilled to get on board. They've had wonderful experiences that only a cruise can provide. I will acknowledge the fact that travel is a little bit more complex at this time. Now more than ever, the professional advice of a travel consultant is needed. And our consultants are here to help you navigate the new complexities of travel and make sure your vacation is safe and seamless. I'm always amazed when people talk about booking their own vacations, and I think that there are things that I could do on my own. I could change the oil in my car, I could do my taxes, but I prefer to leave those things to experts. And when you book with Expedia Cruises, our travel advisors will provide you with the following: expertise. There are hundreds of different cruise ships and cruise lines, and our advisors will be able to find the right one for you. Pricing, you'll never pay less booking directly with the cruise line, and many times booking with a travel advisor will get you a better price. Expedia extras and promotions. At Expedia, we block group space on hundreds of sailings, can offer you amenities such as shipboard credits, prepaid gratuities, etc., that booking directly with the cruise line you will not get. More important nowadays, information regarding visas, entry requirements, and COVID protocols. We are here to assist you in emergencies or when problems happen. You will not be alone. And we have the ability to handle your entire package. So we are Expedia Cruises air, land, and sea vacation. We can take care of your cruise, your air, your transfers, your vouchers in terms of tours, anything that you possibly need. If you are ready to travel, we are ready to help. Some may not feel comfortable at this point, but that's okay. But as my backdrop says, the time is right. The time is now, and the time is right to plan. Studies have shown that 40% of the pleasure of a trip comes from planning one. Last year has been very, very challenging for many of us. And I think for all of us, we sit back and think about travel, the travels we've done, and the travels that we're going to do. The term bucket list has now become to-do list, and I can't wait to start traveling again. Time has passed, and like you, I have much to make up for. Whatever your dreams are, our Expedia Cruises consultants can help them come true. We are committed to finding you the best value for your travel dollars. We are more than just cruises, as mentioned. So sit back, relax, let's start exploring the world and dreaming of your next vacation. I'd like to introduce our special guest, Leslie Schaff from Avalon Waterways. Welcome, Leslie.
Thank you, Lisa. Hello, everyone. Thumbs up and my screen's good. Thumbs up. Anybody? Yeah, good. Thanks. All right. Well said. What a great introduction, Lisa, because you know what? We've all been sitting, waiting, and the comeback plan is starting, I really think, and now is our time really to travel, and the time is now, as Lisa mentioned, right? So tonight I'm going to be focusing on Avalon Waterways, which is river cruising. Here's a picture of myself in Budapest. I'm virtually on our observation lounge right now in Budapest, but I've been with the company 16 years. And I have river cruised many rivers in Europe. So I'll be sharing some of my knowledge of myself traveling in Europe, as well as I'll share some destinations, excursions, the Avalon River Cruise ships, of course, and really get you excited to plan your next river cruise vacation. So this presentation is sit back, relax, and really enjoy. I got a lot of fantastic images of Europe and other areas of the world as well. So Avalon Waterways is part of the Globus family of brands. And so I just want to address this, that we are one big family. We have Globus, which is our first class touring. We offer private touring. We also offer what we call choice touring, and we have some small group discovery touring as well, Globus. Cosmos is our budget-friendly escorted travel, and with both Globus and Cosmos, we go to 6 continents of the world. Monograms is our package vacations for the independent traveler, and it's city stays, but you're still locally hosted, and you have local guided tours included, but plenty of free time to explore the city that you're in on your own as well. And tonight I will be talking about Avalon Waterways, our worldwide river cruising and small ship cruising. So I thought I'd start off and talk about operations, because we have started operations. We officially started the Globus land operation in May 2021, and then Avalon followed in July 2021. And since then, we have operated with 15,000 passengers from Canada and the USA, and we have had 0 issues. It's been smooth sailing, smooth touring since we started our operations again. And it's still we're traveling in a pandemic, and we're learning how to travel different as well. And I'm going to talk about safety and health and all of that in my presentation with Avalon tonight. So first off, peaceful, easy feelings. What does this mean is that we want you to have a peace of mind when you are traveling with Avalon Waterways. So when you make your deposit with your Expedia cruise consultant, they actually have an opportunity to move your booking, if you like, before you put your final payment down. So let's say you book a romantic Rhine River cruise for September 22, and you're like, final payment comes around and you're like, and we're still in a pandemic and you're not quite sure if you're ready to travel yet. Not to worry, you can move that deposit to a Globus Newfoundland Labrador tour, or you can move that deposit to the Romantic Rhine for 2023, right? So we're giving you that peace of mind when you are booking with us. And it's nice that we offer the Globus family, is that you don't necessarily have to move it to a river cruise booking. Like I mentioned, you can move it to a land booking. So make sure you talk to your Expedia consultant about this, because it's a perfect opportunity that you can move your money around until you're ready to travel. This only has to be done up until the final payment date. As soon as the final payment date is, I hope you made your mind that you're going on that trip. So with Avalon, there's a lot of room to dream. I hope some of you have heard of Avalon Waterways, but I realize that maybe this might be a new river company that you are listening and learning about tonight. So when you talk about, if you don't know about us, we'll talk about some of the awards that we have won recently. We have Cruise Critic Editor's Picks for Best River Cruise Line and Excursions. In Europe, we have Critics' Choice, Cruiser's Choice for Best River Operator in Europe. And we have won 4 years in a row Best River Cruise Line Cabins with the design of our Panorama Suites. So sweet, safe, and sound cruising is smooth sailing with Avalon Waterways. And I'll talk about this in a moment on another screen, but we do have pre-trip and on-trip health screenings. Currently, right now, we are requiring all of our guests to be fully vaccinated. before arriving on Avalon, 14 days prior, as well as we do temperature checks daily still on the river ship. Now that might go away, like as you know, everything is changing through this pandemic with travel, but currently right now with our operations, we are still doing our daily temperature checks, but it's not like a thermometer to your forehead. They have this little device that gets your temperature from your wrist, believe it or not. Our commitment to the cleanest ships, we have always passed with flying colors, even before the pandemic, of how clean our river ships are with the inspections. And you want to know about this, the sanitization stations, they are everywhere. And I've heard we've added more. So, and they're on wheels, so they move them around wherever the guests are, we'll move the sanitation stations to the guests as well. And all of our crew members officially have been vaccinated with Avalon now. And when they're interacting with the guests on board, they must be wear masks. The big question I do get a lot about is, since we started operating, is the masks on board. It's a question that's come up with a lot of people looking at traveling or about to travel on Avalon. And currently we just abide by the rules and regulations of the country that we're traveling in. So if masks are required indoors, in France, then we'll have the masks required indoors in Avalon if you're not able to social distance. And currently right now, our guests are able to social distance on board. So again, it just depends where we're traveling. So that's a great question to ask your Expedia consultant, just to reach out to us, and we will advise what the rules and regulations are at that time. It could change as well. As soon as you get on the airplane, the next day something could be different, right? It's just about this pandemic. Every day is a new day with us, right? With what's going on with the rules and regulations and in the industry. So what we have called, and I'm not going to go over this tonight because I really want to just talk about the importance of the river cruising and what's going on with Avalon, but we have the Avalon Assurance Program out there. There is a live document that your Expedia consultant can share with you about our procedures of the embarkation, of welcoming on board, the fresh air inside, air out of our river ships and how they're designed and how we don't share air from room to room. Every room has its own air circulation system. Blending cultural proximity and social distancing. That's really talking about the local guided tours and the masks and the amount of people in the tour, touching hearts on hands, the sanitizer, commitment to the cleanest ships like I've talked about, and our crew health. So we have a live document with all of this information if you want to know a little more detail of what we're doing with our river cruise ships and our itineraries. But this is something that I need to talk about tonight is testing. I know this is a big hurdle or an obstacle when you're looking at traveling right now. I have traveled to the US, and I know it's the uneasiness of getting that test to come home because we do need that PCR negative result test to come back to Canada. So what are we doing with Avalon? Well, we are providing the test. So you don't have to worry about going to a local place in Germany or France or Hungary. We're going to be doing we do the testing on board if we're capable of it, or we actually will taxi our guests to a lab to do the test at a lab. And it's all included with us. It's complimentary. You don't have to worry about paying out of pocket for these tests. We will arrange everything for you. Our cruise directors know who's Canadian that need that PCR test. So again, we might bring on a local expert, like you see the picture here, to do the testing on board, and you get your results within 24 hours. If you are traveling after us, you would be responsible for your own test to come home. But as long as you're traveling, within that 72-hour period of ending your river cruise, we will provide the test for you, all complimentary on Avalon. So talk to your Expedia consultant about that when you're looking at booking your Avalon river cruise. All right, so let's talk about our ships now. So we have our ship shape, sweet ships. They're impeccable. They're 5-star. And it's nice about Avalon Waterways when I show you these images tonight is that every river ship with us is designed the same. So no matter what river ship you choose with us in Europe, they're all the same. It's just different decor on the river ship, the coloring of the carpets and the chairs and everything. But you know what? Once you go on one of our European ships, it's like home. You know exactly where everything is, very consistent. So we have the wall-to-wall panoramic window. So river cruising is all about the view and seeing the view, like if you're on the Rhine, the castles, the wineries, if you're on the Danube, of course, going to the famous the Vaha Valley area and seeing that, the apricot trees, it's all about the view. So you always have a view on Avalon, no matter where you're sitting on the river ship, and you have the view right from your room. The sky deck with a shade and yawning system. We have the complimentary Wi-Fi on board. We have local favorites that actually come on board, and we're actually working on our schedule for 2022 and 23 right now with our locals that come on board. Our director for Avalon is actually in Europe right now, interviewing and auditioning people right now of all of the entertainers that come on board Avalon. We have an elevator on all of our river ships. Just to know, the elevator cannot get you to the sky deck. You still have to take a set of stairs to the sky deck, but the elevator can get you through the interior of the river ship. We have the outside viewing deck. We have our English speaking crew and cruise director. We have our revolution in engineering. Our river ships are fairly new and the latest technology. And I mentioned, like with the air systems, like we don't share the air room from room to room. We do have a whirlpool on all of our river ships. I call it the teacup because it really looks like a little teacup, and it's, fits 6 to 8 people. But we do have them, and they're on the sky deck of all of our river ships. We do have the dining, which I'll talk about in a moment. We do have complimentary coffee, tea, espresso machines. I'll show some images of that. We do have a well-stocked library and games, and they are still out right now as we're cruising right now, that our guests are still able to use all of that. So the images on this slide here, one is the reception area. Was when you walk on the river ship, you can see this monitor, and you just tap your card if you're coming or going. So we just keep, so you don't have to go to the crew and hand over a shore pass or anything. You just tap your room key when you're coming and going at the kiosk here. And the kiosk also has like the daily agenda and everything as well, where you're going to go and see. So this is an image of the little kiosk. And the other image on the bottom of this picture is the panorama lounge. And I got some more images of that, but they're nice little seating, comfy little areas in our lounges. Our river ships are designed to feel like home. It's your home away from home. They're very comfortable, and they got that contemporary modern look to them. This is the panorama suite. So these rooms are 200 square feet, and 80% of our rooms are the panorama suite. So majority people sailing on Avalon will be sailing in a panorama suite. I mentioned the view, so you can see the bed is positioned to look out onto the waterway. So you get the view right from bed if you like. Those are 11-foot window with a 7-foot opening. So you can see with the image here in Budapest, that window has been opened up, so you can see how large the window you can open up. You can see a little sitting area. So when you do open up that window, you feel like that outside being brought into your living space, which is nice. 100% of your space is used 100% of the time. The panorama suites in the Avalon Deluxe staterooms amenities. So you can see again, the top image is the panorama suite. And then if you're looking at that lead-in price with Avalon, these are what we call the Avalon Deluxe staterooms. And these rooms are 172 square feet. So quite large still when you think of cruising standards, how large these rooms are. You can see with the open balcony concept, like I talked about, the panoramic windows with the view, like I talked about in the previous slide. We have the comfort collection beds with your choice of mattress firmness. You have your choice of pillows as well. We have bathrobes and slippers available for every guest, and the slippers are for you to keep forever and take home. I'm going to tell you something. I was just cleaning out my closet the other day, and I found a pair of my Avalon slippers, so I did bring mine home. So when I say that, people do take their slippers home. There's the premium L'Occitane bath essentials is what we have. So you don't have to worry about bringing shampoo and conditioner and the lotions and your body wash from home unless you have have your favorites. We have everything on board for you. We have our large bathrooms featuring large showers with the glass door. We have our televisions in the room that have English speaking channels as well as movies on demand. We have our individual climate control in every room, and at turn down service, there's always a fireplace going on in your room on your television. So you come back to your room and it feels like your little fireplace going in your room, but it's on your television. It's a nice little touch, I think. The full-size closet mirror, additional underbed storage, of course, because you want to make you feel like home. Unpack your suitcase, hang everything in the closet, put it in the chest, and you're home away from home for a week or 2 weeks. And we have those reusable souvenir water bottles available for all of our guests. And we're trying to get away with those single-use plastics. So we're giving all of our guests those water bottles for at the refill stations that we have. So more images. So there's an observation lounge in the far left, the top left-hand corner. That's kind of like where my virtual image is at the front of the river ship. This is a nice area when you are river cruising, and again, enjoying those spectacular views. Maybe you're on the Moselle and you see all the wineries along the Moselle. You can be avoiding wind, rain, and sun in this area. And again, you can have that nice outside ambiance. You know, it's a nice place to have a coffee or a cocktail in the evening and just mingle with their fellow travelers outside. And then the panorama, another picture of the panorama lounge. And then the views in the panorama lounge. So sometimes when we're sailing, we can't control Mother Nature, unfortunately. And maybe the day that you are sailing through the Rhine Gorge and you're looking at all those beautiful castles and the ruins and the wineries and just the villages and the train going by and just enjoying that ambiance. Maybe it's a little windy or a little rainy. You still get those great views right from the panorama lounge and get the commentary as well. So you can be inside and enjoy it all. Or maybe at happy hour in the lounge and you are cruising at the time, you watch the view during happy hour and just enjoy the view in the panorama lounge, which is, again, it's all about the view for river cruising. This is what we call the club lounge. And now you're thinking, oh my gosh, there's a lot of stuff going on in this river cruise ship, and I didn't think these ships are very big. They're not. We have to be creative with our space. So what Avalon has done is created a second lounge at the rear of the river ship. As you can see, it's the back here. And we call it the club lounge. And this is where nothing formal happens. This is your place to go read a book, go on your iPad, just mingle with the other guests, maybe play some cards. There's the games, like I mentioned. There is a television back here. If you want to watch a soccer match or a hockey game, we can do that in the back of the club lounge here. And it has a complimentary coffee, tea, espresso station area, like this picture here, and you help yourself to a cappuccino, you can help yourself to a tea, some water, juice. There's always treats there. Right now, like the cookies or the donuts, the muffins, or anything that we have back here is all individually packaged. You just take what you want, grab it, versus taking the tongs and grabbing 2 cookies. It's all packaged right now. But the actual espresso machine is still self-serving. Go up to it, press the button, and get your cappuccino. So, which is really, really nice. And we're just sanitizing it after every use. So sanitization there. Like I mentioned, it is your home away from home. So we have designed the river ship to really make you feel at home. We don't expect you to bring tiaras, gowns, ties, tuxedos on Avalon. We just, snappy casual attire is just perfect for our ambiance. And that is a question I get a lot when I do in-person talks in the past, is what to wear on a river cruise. And we don't have any formal nights either. So it's just to know that if you wear jeans and a golf shirt, men, all day long, you can still wear jeans and a golf shirt to dinner if you like, as long as your jeans don't have any rips or holes in them. And then women, again, you can wear your black t-shirt and your black pants all day long, and maybe you want to put a nice necklace and some earrings on at night to dress it up at night if you want to, but you don't have to bring your finest. We just want you to be comfortable on Avalon waterways. And even our crew have that feeling when you're talking to the crew members as well, is that they treat you like family on board. It's all about that feeling, like the art of feeling at home. I mentioned a lot of these when I talked about the amenities in the rooms, but I didn't talk about a fitness center. So we do have a fitness center on all of our river ships with like a treadmill, a bike, some free weights, of course, yoga mats for stretching if you want. So we do have these on all of our river ships if you want to stay on the treadmill if training for something, or just you like to ride the bike every morning, we do offer this for you as well. And I talked about complimentary Wi-Fi. I thought I'd mention it one more time just in case. So again, a question I get a lot about with cruising is the Wi-Fi. And we do have a complimentary on board. It is password protected, and it's complimentary through the entire river ship. But just remember, there's no cable following the river ship. So sometimes the signal might be really good, and sometimes the signal might be not so good. Just like being in Alberta, if you're in Edmonton, you got a great signal, and then you go out, up north and your signal gets a little weaker. That can happen on a river ship as well on the rivers. Most people nowadays bring their own devices, like you have your phone, of course, or your tablet or your laptop, and you're able to use our Wi-Fi with all of your own devices. So dining. So we include breakfast, lunch, and dinner on board. We include breakfast, lunch, and dinner in that bottom right-hand corner in the restaurant. But we are creative with other spaces on the river ship to find other areas of where to eat. For example, you can have room service for breakfast, lunch, and dinner if you like. No extra cost to you. Just note the breakfast is a continental breakfast, and then you can order off the lunch and dinner menu to have brought to your room as well. We also have early riser breakfast in what we call the panorama lounge and the bistro area, as you can see the bottom left-hand picture. And we also offer in this area a light a dinner as well in the bistro as well. So if you don't want to, you maybe didn't want to have to change your clothes for dinner, or you just wanted to go right from the excursion to dinner, a lot of people would take advantage of the bistro there and just walk in and have a nice light dinner. And then for lunch, we have our Sky Grill, as you can see the top right hand picture, and this is a grill style lunch on the sky deck with all your favorites like hamburgers, the sausages, of course. We have, the salads, the cold salads, the ice cream. We have, of course, the beer and wine up on the sky deck at lunch. So it's a nice ambiance, especially if you're cruising, to have that Sky Grill at lunch. And there's no reservation needed. You just come up and get served and then find a seating. Or you can bring it down to your room if you like. If you don't want to sit up there on the Sky Grill, you can go bring it to your room if you like. We're not going to stop you. And then, of course, we have the panorama lounge for dinner as well. We have the 4-course elegant dinner every night. So I have some pictures of food in my presentation. So if you haven't eaten your dinner yet, I do apologize. This is my biggest problem on Avalon. What to have, the waffle or the eggs Benedict every morning, because they're both really good. So if I'm going to take a bike ride, I'm probably going to have the waffle. If I'm just going to do the leisurely morning walk, I might have the eggs Benedict. That's how I really choose my breakfast, is what excursion I'm doing that day. So we do have a buffet still. So I know that word is not used very often, but we actually, since we started river cruising in July, have found a way to still have that famous buffet and the choices at the buffet. So you don't have to have the waffle and eggs Benedict either. You can have, the smoked salmon. There is all the bread choices that you would like, the fresh croissants, donuts, yogurts, cheeses, you name it. We have the hash browns, little pancakes. We have unimaginable, all the choices in the world really for breakfast. It's a little bit overwhelming. My biggest issue is the waffle or the eggs Benedict. Lunch, again, lots of choices. We try to have choices in the regions that you're traveling as well, because we know when it comes to travel and experiencing and trying new cuisine is part of travel, right? So with Avalon, we'll have the schnitzel, we'll have the apple strudel, we'll have the sockertorte, we'll have it all if you're traveling in Bavaria. We actually have a special Bavarian lunch on the river cruise with, the boiled potatoes and the pretzels and the schnitzel and everything. And it's really fun. And some of our crew wear some really funny aprons. So if you've ever been to Bavaria, you might have seen them in little shops, and they have the hats and everything. And it's a great little experience for lunch. And then dinner, like I mentioned, is a 4-course elegant dinner. Lots of choices. If you're vegetarian, we have the Avalon Fresh menu with the vegetarian choices as well. And with lunch and dinner, we always include beer and wine. And the wine at dinner actually changes every evening. And we really truly focus on regional wines every evening. You get a choice of red or white regional. And then we do have a rosé on the menu as well. And it is complimentary with your meals. So the venture is up to you. Really, it is. River cruising, you're thinking, I don't know if it's how adventurous it is. River cruising is very adventurous. Okay, so there's a lot of choices of excursions now with river cruising. Avalon has really listened to the river cruiser, and we really designed our itineraries with the river cruiser in mind. We have classic choices of excursions, and everything I'm talking about tonight are mostly included Okay, so that word included, I don't know if I say it enough, but these are choices that are included. So a classic walking tour of Mainz, for example, you can see the timber homes here. You walk through the cobblestone streets, you see the cathedral, and then you go into the printing press museum and learn how they printed the very first Bible of the world. We have excursions that are a little more active excursions, like the biking along the Danube here. And this is a picture of that bike trail from Krems to Spitz. You're biking through the wineries and through the towns. It's about 21-kilometer bike ride. There's not much incline to it, depending on the direction that you're sailing. I won't tell you which one, just in case. But it's a really nice scenic bike ride. If you've always wanted to bike down along the Danube, this is we have that excursion choice included for you. There's others, like there's canoeing, there's running excursions if you're a runner. We have hiking excursions. We have lots of different active excursions. Of course, we have those discovery excursions, something a little more local focused, like going to Giverny and visiting Monet's home, for example, and visiting the gardens, of course. It's a little more of a specialty for that area, and we have that included on our itineraries in France. So your cruise, your way. So I talked about adventure. How about having an adventure host on board? So we have certified trainers on all of our river ships. And if you want to do morning stretches or yoga or learn how to do a Hungarian dance, this is the activity that we do have on board. Now, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it, right? We're not going to make you. So these are just, again, choices that we have. And then we have our Avalon Go app. This app has been very, very popular, more popular now because you can view the menus now at dinner. You don't need to touch the menu if you don't want to. You can just go on your phone and check the menu at dinner now. Of course, these apps are always been popular. To see the maps of the centers that you're in, see what to do close to the river ship. Everything was always on the app for you, but the menu thing I've heard from our past travelers in the last few months has been really key to have that on the app every day for our guests. So where in the world? So Avalon has a lot of river itineraries to choose from. In Europe alone, we're on the Rhone, the Saône, the Seine, the Rhine, the Moselle, the Main, the Danube, and we're in Holland and Belgium. So we have lots of itineraries to choose from. So tonight I just thought I'd quickly just highlight a few of some of our popular itineraries. There's a lot of romance in these itineraries, a lot of adventure, and there's some festivities on these itineraries as well. And we have tulip time. This is, when you think of it, this is just around the corner now. Tulip time starts the last week of March into April and May. So if you're interested in going on tulip cruise, it's coming within the months when you think of it. We have different itineraries to choose from for tulip time. And we actually have some itineraries in Holland and Belgium that not only travel to during tulip time. You can go on these itineraries in June, July, August, September, October, if you want. But this one's more specific. This one is your 8 days Brussels, Amsterdam itinerary, very, very popular itinerary. You visit Flanders Field Museum in Joep. You visit the battlefields and the last post ceremony and the Menin Gate. We have a guided tour in Kinderdijk and in Rotterdam. You see the harbor cruise in Rotterdam. You visit Haarlem and the major flower bulbs growing district. You see it all focusing on that tulip time culture. And of course, Amsterdam, highlight on this itinerary. We have choices of excursions. You can do the canal cruise, or you can do a bike tour like the bottom right-hand image. We have the romantic Rhine itinerary. This itinerary is very popular for a first-time river cruiser. It's your Amsterdam, Basel, or reverse, so you can go in either direction. We have lots of choices of excursions on this itinerary. In Cologne, you have a choice of a basic walking tour of Cologne. Walk down the cobblestone streets, learn about the cuisine in Cologne, the history of Cologne, and there is the World War II history, and you go into the cathedral. Or you can do a Jewish heritage walking tour of Cologne and more off that beaten path and learn about the Jewish heritage and the importance in Cologne, and then some World War II history portion of that tour as well. We have a choice in Mainz. You can do that guided walking tour like I just highlighted and go into the Gutenberg Press Museum, or you can go to Heidelberg and visit the Heidelberg Castle. We have Strasbourg, and you can visit what we call Le Petite France, and you have a little canal cruise in Strasbourg, and you visit inside the cathedral, and then you get into France, and you think of it, you never think, well, I'm going on the Rhine River, you never think you're going to be going to France, but there's a little touch into France on this itinerary. So again, it's 8 days, perfect. It's got the ambiance, the castle ruins and the wineries and all the scenery on this itinerary, and a lot of choices to do everywhere that we stop on this itinerary. Magnificent Europe. This is your itinerary. Maybe your river cruise is your bucket list trip. You're only going to do one. You're going to want to go for 2 weeks, probably. Your Amsterdam to Budapest or Budapest to Amsterdam is probably going to be your pick. You're going to get the Rhine River. You're going to get a bit of the Moselle, the Main, and the Danube. And you're going to be on that famous Main-Danube Canal as well. So it's a great itinerary. You can see some of the highlights in my photos. Here is again the castles on the Rhine. We have Würzburg there and the bishop's residence. You know, they filmed a lot. Three Musketeers, the latest Hollywood, I think it was like in the late 90s, early 2000s. Three Musketeers movie here instead of at Versailles. They actually filmed it in Würzburg. We got the Sakatorte in Vienna. And of course, that ambiance of river cruising into Budapest and the Parliament building and just the excitement of being on the river and sailing into a city like Budapest. So again, this is a great itinerary to get a lot of rivers, a lot of countries in, a lot of main centers, a lot of towns and villages. I say you hit all the burgs on this itinerary: Bamberg, Würzburg, Miltenberg, Nuremberg. You get them all, right? It's just a great itinerary for someone that just wants to go for 2 weeks. Now, if you just want to focus on the Danube, we have a lot of choices for the Danube. This is just one. It's called the Legendary Danube. The river itinerary itself is Nuremberg to Budapest. And again, you can add on Prague, as you can see on the map. You can add on the 2 nights in Prague and staying in a central located hotel. And we would include breakfast and a local guided excursion as well. So images here, we got Regensburg. We have a guided walk. You see the famous Rathaus in Regensburg. But we also go to the world's oldest sausage kitchen. You know, it's really neat experience, and you could go inside if you want. It's not very big. And Avalon treats you to some sausage, some sauerkraut, and a beer. So I suggest, if you are going to do that, to have it as an appetizer in the afternoon when you're in Regensburg. Come back to the river ship for lunch and go back out for your appetizer at the world's oldest sausage kitchen. So you don't have to go with everybody, go at your own time, which is nice. You see an image of Melk, that top right-hand picture. You know, we include a guided visit inside Melk in the Abbey with one of the local guides of the Abbey. You see one of the world's oldest libraries and a globe, the actual older globe. It was really neat to experience to see that, as well as you can go inside the cathedral. Again, there's a picture of cruising past Dürnstein in the bottom left-hand picture and the Blue Tower. And that image at the bottom is the world's oldest sausage kitchen in Regensburg. And they're very tasty, and I recommend anyone when you stop into Regensburg to try it. Balkan Discovery. So this is a little more unique. Now you're getting more eastern than Budapest. So you're going east of Budapest. You can go from Vienna all the way this direction as well, but this is a Budapest east, and it's Budapest to Bucharest. And you get the famous iron gates, as you can see here, and you can see the image on the top right-hand picture. This is an itinerary actually I have not been on yet, and this is on my bucket list. Of course, the fortress, and we've actually have a little river port that was just built during the pandemic. They were pretty much disembarked to go on the guided excursion right at the fortress. I saw a picture from one of our cruise directors recently, and you talk about central location of docking now to go to the fortress is amazing. Before we used to have to coach in, and now we can just get off and pretty much walk there, which is really, really nice. And that's the nice thing about river cruising. I don't think I've talked about this in the presentation much yet, is how central you are everywhere that you are stopping. Most places, even the metropolitan cities, you're fairly central, unless it's in Nuremberg, for example, where Nuremberg's not right on the river because you're going through that canal, right? So that it's all man-made. So you have to coach into Nuremberg. But most of the time, like Regensburg and Budapest even Vienna, you're not that far. You know, there's lots around the river ships. And then if you're 3 subway stops into the center, right? So you're not really that far. I actually walked it once, believe it or not. But it's nice that with river cruising, you just, most of the time you just walk off the river ship and you're right in the heart of the city. Paris, you're like dream location right by the Eiffel Tower, right? So I know I got a little off topic on this slide, but I thought I'd mention it as well. So this is your Balkan Discovery itinerary, and then flows right into the Burgundy and Provence. I just mentioned Paris. So we have 2 itineraries in France. So we have the south of France in the Rhone and the Saône, and we have our northern France in the Normandy area. You can combine it all and do it all one itinerary, 16 days in France if you want. And we just start, our river ships here are sister ships. So you just, if you're in room 324, you get 324 in the next river ship. So it's like, again, they're all designed the same, right? So you really feel like home when you go from ship to ship. So this one is the Burgundy Provence. This is where you get the ambiance of the Roman ruins, of course. You got the lavender fields, of course, the wineries. And Arles, there you can see the amphitheater, of course. We got lots of different excursions in the south of France as well. If you like wine, we got excursions for you. If you don't like wine, we have excursions for you. So we have, it's not just about wine with the south of France. Like I mentioned, a lot of history with the Roman ruins. And again, those beautiful lavender fields, if you travel in within June and August, you'll have an opportunity to see them before they are harvested. Paris to Normandy is actually one of my favorite itineraries. I think it's a hidden gem when it comes to river cruise itineraries. This one starts and ends in Paris. So it is a round trip. Oh, the cruise, some cruises don't do the round trip. So this itinerary does. You can see the picture of our river ship, how close you are to the Eiffel Tower in Paris. You can watch that famous twinkle show at night from the sky deck if you want, and not have to walk to the Eiffel Tower. And I don't know how crowded it is right now, but when I've been in there past, it gets pretty crowded at night. You can just watch it from the sky deck, which is really nice. Of course, going into Caudebec, the Abbey Roads, we have Giverny, we have the Calvados. And of course, if you have World War II history and you want to know more about World War II and visit Juno Beach, we have that choice of excursion as well on this itinerary. And again, you can add more time in Paris, you can add nights in Mont Saint Michel on this itinerary. Because really, it's a fantastic itinerary. And if everyone thinks the south of France first for France, and I always think Normandy is again that hidden gem for France. Okay, for you that maybe want to add a river cruise on to your ocean cruise, for example, maybe you're going on a med cruise, maybe you're going on a British Isle cruise, and you thought, hey, I'm already in Europe, maybe I want to try a river cruise. And this is really common. That a lot of our shorter itineraries sell to our guests that are taking something else. So we do have the Taste of the Rhine, which is a 5-night itinerary on the Rhine, Amsterdam to Frankfurt. We have the Heart of Germany, Frankfurt to Nuremberg. We have the Danube Symphony. We have a Taste of the Danube, which is our #1 short itinerary. It's Budapest, Vienna. That's all it is. It's 4 days, 3 nights. You get a taste of river cruising. The only complaint we get on any of these itineraries is from our guests is that I wish I booked a longer itinerary. That's the only complaint that we ever get, but you get a taste of it, especially if you're adding it on to another trip or you're visiting family, you just want to try it. We have these short itineraries for you. So make sure you reach out to your Expedia consultant and they can definitely add on a river cruise itinerary to your European trip. So don't miss the boat. Okay, so I have lots of itineraries. I just wanted to highlight some special stuff we have going on with Avalon because we are very innovative. We come up with new things every year. We bring on new special guests every year. We really work with what our guests want. So we've come up with this new series called the Storyteller Series. And this is for 2022. And we have some famous authors traveling with Avalon. They're going to be doing book signings. They'll do meet and greets. They'll be out on excursions and eating meals with their guests. How small the river ship is, 120 people. You're going to definitely meet the author, right? So you see some of these images and you're like, well, who are you talking about, Leslie? We have Cheryl Strayhand, the author of Wild. Now, you might not have read the book, but you might have seen the Reese Witherspoon film. And it's very, very popular. And she will be cruising with us in 2022. We have Diana Gabaldon, which is the author of Outlander. And she's actually cruising with us this week right now on the Rhine River. She is a godmother of one of our river ships. We have a great relationship. With her, and she cruises with us every year. And that cruise is very, very popular. Honestly, sometimes I think they think the actors of Outlander are going to be on the ship, but it's Diana herself, the creator of Jamie and Claire. We have a musician. We have Edward McCain. If you're not familiar with his music, he is from Nashville, and he's the song "I'll Be" that's featured in a lot of movies. I Could Not Ask for More, which is featured in A Message in a Bottle, Nicholas Sparks movie. We have Candace Bushnell, and she is the author and creator of Sex and the City, and she'll be cruising on the Normandy itinerary with us. Of course, Sex and the City, the big tie with Paris, and it's really, really excited to have her on that itinerary with us. Gillian Flynn, the author of Gone Girl, and we have Christopher Moore, more of a comedic author, and he's actually, his cruise is selling the best of all of them. His is the one, he must have a great following, but all of these storytellers will be cruising with us. And we just announced Sister Hazel, so another musician, a group. Your Winter is a popular song from Sister Hazel. Pack Your Passions also, and I don't have much time to go over all of these. So we do have a lot of special interest cruises. So beer tasting, culinary cruises, festive cruises, history cruises, garden and nature, Jewish heritage cruises, photography cruises. We have it all. Talk to your Expedia consultant about all the choices of these special interest cruises. They are date specific, of course, on a specific itinerary, like the Rhine and Moselle here in Canals and Vineyards and Castles for wine lovers. Well, you're on the Moselle, it's wine region, perfect to have a wine themed river cruise. We also have the festive cruises. Christmas time on the Danube is very popular. You get all those major Christmas markets in. The most popular time to go is that last week of November, first week of December, right at the beginning when the markets all open. So you're home in time for Christmas here in Canada with all your Christmas delights from the markets. 2022 gives you Floriade. So we have our itineraries that actually include Floriade, like the Active and Discovery in Holland and Belgium, Tulips Northern Holland, and Springtime in Holland and Belgium. And we also have some itineraries that we offer as an optional excursion. This expo is only every 10 years, and it's 2022 is its year. So you have, again, more questions, reach out to your Expedia cruise consultant. Oberammergau 2020 was postponed to 2022. We do have some space left on our Rhine itineraries that include Oberammergau. So you would have a 1 or 2 nights in Oberammergau. You might have a night in Innsbruck, depending on the itinerary that you choose, and then you have your 7 nights on the Rhine. There is some space on the Danube Dreams itinerary, but not as much as the Rhine. So there's you just have to talk to your Expedia consultant again. Again, the Passion Play every 10 years. It's very, very popular, and we have that preferred seating for the Passion Play in Oberammergau. Again, the venture is up to you. We do have our Active and Discovery itineraries. One, Active and Discovery in Holland and Belgium is on my bucket list. This one is, I think, a fantastic itinerary for anybody that wants to go to Holland and Belgium. You could be an active person and take all the bike excursions, like there's a mountain bike excursion, there's a lot of biking excursions in the cities. Or you can be, you know, an art lover, food lover, and have a great time, or just be a classic historian and do this itinerary. Anybody can do this itinerary. It does include the Floriade, like I mentioned on that previous slide. We have painting workshops, like in Amsterdam. You can learn the techniques of Vincent van Gogh if you're interested in that. We go to, you go to a family-owned oyster farm, as you can see on the bottom left-hand picture. You can do a Belgian chocolate making class on this itinerary. And of course, again, there's a lot of bike excursions. This is the Antwerp bike excursion, the image here, but lots of bike excursions included on this, choices of excursions on this itinerary. And this was another Active and Discovery on the Danube. So we have Active and Discovery on the Danube, Rhine, Rhone, Holland and Belgium, Seine, and Moselle now. So we have lots of choices in this style of river cruising. So this is just, you know, another itinerary offering the Active and Discovery. So with that, Avalon being part of the Globus family of brands, there is opportunity to stay a little longer where you're traveling. We have some great contracts in the cities, some great extensions. Like I kind of teased you with that extension with Mont Saint Michel on that one itinerary in France. I've talked about Prague. You can extend to Lucerne, you can extend to Lake Como. We have Rome extensions, we have London extensions, Venice extensions, Croatia extensions, south of France, you name it. We have all these extensions for you. I know when you're traveling, you might not just do a 7-night river cruise, you're going to do a little more. And we have all this so you can do one-stop shop with us with your Expedia consultant and get that perfect vacation all put together. Excuse me. So I know I talked heavy Europe. I'm just going to take maybe 2 minutes here and mention some other areas outside of Europe, because I know I focus a lot on Europe, but we do have, if you have an exotic destination on your bucket list and you want a river cruise, we do have some choices for you as well in some exotic destinations. We do offer the Nile. We have the Mekong, the Ganges, Amazon, Galapagos, and really these are trips of a lifetime. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. I was worried about that. The Taste of Egypt is 10 days Cairo. As you can see on the map here, we have the 4-night river cruise, and it's more than just the river cruise itself. Sorry, end of my presentation here. I apologize, I don't have a voice left. So I'm just gonna quickly highlight these itineraries here. I know towards the end. We have the Ganges, like I mentioned. Talk to your Expedia cruise consultant, and they're definitely gonna help you out with these exotic locations. We have our fascinating Vietnam and Cambodia. 13 days Siem Reap to Ho Chi Minh City, very, very popular itinerary. Perfect time to go is at the end of November, December. So you're planning for 2022 or 2023. We have our Amazon itinerary, including Machu Picchu, and our Galapagos itinerary. And this is our small ship cruise. Remember at the very beginning, I mentioned river cruising as small ship cruising. Here's your small ship. It's like a yacht cruise. It's 16 guests. That's it on our Avalon at Ecuador and Galapagos itinerary. I'm going to talk about the savings. So we have lots of savings going on right now for Avalon. We have fly free, save up to $1,300 off per couple on select European sailings. And we have our Mekong $2,700 off per couple on select sailings. Reach out to your Expedia consultant. There's a lot more promotions out there, but these are just examples of some of the big ones that we have. They all are extended until mid-November, and then most likely will be extended to the end of the year. And then we are part of the World Explorer program with Expedia. I know you only have until October 31st, so we're not done yet. But Avalon is part of it. We do have free prepaid gratuities for any of your bookings between October 1st and 31st with Avalon in Europe, as well as part of the Globus family brands. Globus does have an offer of additional $100 off per person on any of our Globus tours. So I'll ask and receive to make sure that you get that promotion added to your file if you booked between October 1st and the 31st. And just have to have a deposit on file to get the World Explorer promotion with us. So that leaves it to my questions and my thank you slide, and I'll stop sharing now. And I do apologize for making the last 5 minutes a little unbearable, but we got through it.
Thank you. Sorry you're losing your voice there, Leslie. I know what that feels like, and it's definitely not comfortable, but thank you. What a fabulous, fabulous presentation. You've taken us all over the world. What really stuck out to me was the choices. The choices of places to go, also the choices of tours. So you can be as active or as inactive as you want. You can bike, you can paint, you can cook, you can drink wine, you can do everything. So I think Avalon definitely shows us a wonderful, wonderful product. And thank you for sharing that with us. Just a quick question, because I know we're looking at planning ahead, is do you have 2023 open for booking?
Yes, 2023 is open.
Okay.
Most itineraries, not all itineraries, but most, and I think most of the itineraries I highlighted tonight are open. Yeah.
Right. That is absolutely fabulous. So we're not gonna make you talk anymore, because I know it's difficult for you. I just want to wind up letting everybody know travel is starting. It is time to start thinking about planning your vacation. We do have space in 2022 and 2023. Cruise lines and tour operators are being very, very flexible. So in terms of your booking and moving things, so there's no risk to your investment. And like me, I'm not getting any younger, and I've lost 2 years of travel. So I think the demand is high, and we are already starting to see shortage of space. So if it's something you want to do, definitely give your Expedia Cruises consultant a call. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your past travels. We look forward to helping you with your future travels. Reach out to your consultants if you have any questions at all. Reminder to follow us on Facebook, and each location also has their YouTube channels where we record all these presentations. Next week, November 4th, we will be featuring Star Clippers Tall Ship Cruise Experiences. So thank you, everybody, for your time. Thank you. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. We look forward to planning your next dream vacations with you, and we look forward to hopefully seeing you every Thursday at our travel talks. Good night, everyone.